Have you ever stopped to consider a truly profound question? Do our fat cells actually have a memory? It might sound like science fiction, but this concept is very real, and it could be the fundamental reason why you and millions of others struggle to lose weight and, more importantly, keep it off for good. Hello, we are Better Body Daily, and with our YouTube channel, we want to provide in under 10 minutes medical, understandable, and correct information about diseases, causes of these diseases, and what we can do about them ourselves with our own diet combined with exercise and sport. Because all of this is very closely related, and if you don't want to miss anything, then subscribe to our channel now. We know the statistic. Nearly half the population is overweight, but the true, detailed story lies hidden within our fat cells, a narrative that very few people have ever been told. Understanding this narrative is the key to finally achieving permanent, sustainable weight loss. So let's begin. First, why do some of us have more fat cells than others? The foundation is, of course, our genetics. But your personal history, especially your early life, plays a tremendously powerful role. During childhood and adolescence, a critical window of development, external factors can permanently increase the number of fat cells in your body. These factors are precisely what you might suspect: your diet, your level of physical activity, and your overall lifestyle. And when I speak of diet, I'm not just referring to obviously fatty or sugary foods. I'm also talking about hidden culprits like fructose, which is rampant in our modern food supply. By the time you transition into adulthood, the total number of your fat cells becomes remarkably stable. It essentially gets locked in. So, let this sink in. An unhealthy lifestyle when you are young can set you up with a higher number of fat cells for the rest of your life. In adulthood, when you gain weight, it's typically not because you're creating new fat cells, but because your existing cells are expanding in volume, like tiny balloons being inflated. There are, of course, exceptions to this, such as in cases of specific hormonal disorders like lipodema. This brings us to the core of our discussion, the fat cell memory. It appears your fat cells genuinely remember their past states, particularly their largest size and their peak number. When you lose weight, the cells shrink, but they don't disappear. They lie in wait, primed and ready to refill at the first opportunity. This phenomenon could be the definitive explanation for why maintaining weight loss is so incredibly challenging. This is why people who were once overweight are often more susceptible to returning to their previous state. Their body is actively fighting to restore its old, comfortable fat reserves. Furthermore, we must understand that adipose tissue is not just a passive storage depot for energy. It is a highly active endocrine organ. It produces and secretes a vast array of hormones, like adiponectin, which plays a vital role in regulating your blood sugar levels and your body's sensitivity to insulin. This system is infinitely more complex than most people realize. A crucial part of this cellular memory is a concept known as metabolic imprinting. This describes how your early life choices, your childhood diet, your activity levels, can program your metabolism for the future. Through a fascinating biological process called epigenetics, these lifestyle factors can alter the activity of your genes without changing your DNA itself. This can lead to a slower, less efficient metabolism that persists for decades. You might have looked young, vibrant, and healthy at 20. Believe me, I was self-critical of my own past. I partied and ate unhealthily, and at that age, the body just bounces back. But underneath the surface, the body was already forming that fat cell memory, setting the stage for future struggles. Don't we all know someone who was fit and trim in their youth, but gained a significant amount of weight in their 30s, 40s, or 50s? That transformation is often the delayed result of habits from a much earlier time. This leads to the crucial question: can everyone truly succeed at losing weight? We've all experienced it. You start a diet, you successfully lose weight, especially in the first few weeks when it's mostly water weight, only to see the numbers on the scale creep back up. This is the infamous and deeply frustrating yo-yo effect. The set point theory offers a compelling explanation for this. It suggests that your body has a preferred weight, a set point, that is genetically and hormonally predetermined, and it will defend this weight fiercely. When your weight drops below this set point, your body initiates a powerful, coordinated counterattack to regain what it has lost. Your hormones become your biggest adversary. Leptin, the crucial hormone produced by fat cells that signals you're full, decreases sharply. Simultaneously, ghrelin, The hunger hormone produced in your stomach skyrockets, making you feel constantly, gnawingly hungry. It's a biological imperative that is incredibly difficult to fight with willpower alone. And then there's insulin. Insulin is essential for managing blood sugar, but chronically high levels, often caused by frequent consumption of processed carbohydrates and sugars, put the brakes on fat burning and actively promote fat storage, locking you in a vicious cycle. Another often overlooked tragedy of conventional dieting is the loss of precious muscle mass. Your muscles are your metabolic engine, burning calories 24/7, even when you're at rest. This is your basal metabolic rate. When you lose muscle, your metabolic engine slows down, making it far easier to regain all the weight you lost, and then some. So, the ultimate question is, can you outsmart this incredibly intelligent system? While there is no single magic pill, you can absolutely influence it and tip the scales in your favor. A fascinating area of modern research is browning, which is the process where your body can be encouraged to convert standard white storage fat into metabolically active, energy-burning brown fat. This process can be stimulated by two key external factors: regular, vigorous physical activity, and, perhaps surprisingly, cold exposure. It is not only fantastic for the immune system, but is also thought to help with this browning process. Your gut microbiome is another central player in this story. Nurturing a diverse and healthy gut ecosystem with a diet rich in fiber from vegetables and legumes, as well as probiotics from fermented foods, can profoundly influence your nutrient absorption, inflammation levels, and fat metabolism. But remember, these are powerful tools, not a complete solution on their own. The most critical strategy is to adopt a truly sustainable lifestyle. This means building your diet around high-quality protein to promote satiety and preserve muscle mass. It means practicing mindful eating to reconnect with your body's genuine hunger and fullness cues, learning to savor your food, and distinguishing real hunger from emotional cravings. And it means finding a routine that you actually enjoy, one that brings you pleasure and can be maintained for life, not just for a few miserable months. Finally, we must address the critical role of inflammation. Enlarged fat cells, particularly the dangerous visceral fat that accumulates around your internal organs like the liver and pancreas, are not benign. They are little factories that constantly pump out inflammatory substances into your bloodstream. This creates a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation that quietly wreaks havoc on your entire system. It negatively impacts your metabolism, disrupts your delicate hormonal balance, and is a primary driver of insulin resistance and, eventually, metabolic syndrome. This problem becomes significantly more pronounced as we age, because we naturally tend to lose muscle and accumulate more of this inflammatory belly fat. That is why actively pursuing an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, which includes a whole foods diet, quality sleep, and effective stress management, becomes increasingly vital for your long-term health and well-being. To conclude, fat itself is not the enemy. Your body needs healthy fats to function correctly. The problem is the excessive accumulation driven by our modern environment. As we get older, we face a daunting double challenge. Our body's innate ability to metabolize and burn fat naturally declines, while at the same time, we lose approximately 1% of our muscle mass every single year after the age of 30. This is a powerful combination working against you. That is why it is absolutely essential to start, or to restart, with strength training in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. It is your single most effective defense against age-related metabolic decline. I always say, if you don't have the guts to get moving at 40, you won't have the brains to think with at 70. Please, take a moment to let that sink in. I look forward to reading your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.